Welcome everyone to my Money in the Bank pay-per-view review. This is the first review I've done of a pay-per-view by myself. Hopefully you caught my preview earlier on in the day that I did. I uploaded last night. And with all that said, why don't we just jump into this pay-per-view now, shall we? Granted, I didn't have a lot of expectations for this, with only 4 matches announced. So, why don't we just jump right into it now, shall we? So we kick off the pay-per-view with the Money in the Bank ladder match for the World Heavyweight title shot. Seems to be a recurring theme with WWE. The last few pay-per-views, they seem to like to open up with the World Heavyweight Championship, whether it's a match or if it's the Money in the Bank match itself. You know who was all in it, so I won't waste your time with that kind of thing. But early on, the action was kind of choppy. There were a few botches. They weren't all by Sin Cara either. I mean, I think just about everybody had a hand in that. Actually, Tensai was one of the stars of this match, believe it or not. There's one spot where Santino got hung up on the ladder, and Tensai basically saved him from potential disaster. He kind of saved that spot. Yeah, it was a botch, but it could have been a whole hell of a lot worse. There were about 4 or 5 people in this match I thought had a shot. I mean, Cody Rhodes, obviously, Ziggler, Tyson Kidd as your underdog type. Then your monster heel and Tensai. I even thought, if you watched my review, I even thought Sandow could have been a dark horse in this match. But anyway, I thought conventional wisdom would have told you that Cody Rhodes would have won this match. But and the way Dolph Ziggler had been booked lately, doing more jobs to Sheamus than anything else. So of course Ziggler ends up winning the Money in the Bank match. So, and I'm okay with that. I mean, some of the other guys in the match, they were just kind of there, like Christian and Santino and that. But I have no problem with Ziggler winning this match. The only thing is that you're not going to hear the end of it from Vicky fucking Guerrero. But other than that, I thought the match was decent. Alrighty then, the next match was the World Heavyweight Championship match between Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio has been really more aggressive of late. I thought they actually did a good job of building him up to where you thought he would have had a shot to beat Sheamus in this match. He worked on his arm a lot of the match, and I thought it was a really solid match between the two. They've had good matches in the past, and this one was no different. Sheamus does go in when clean with the bro kick, so he is still your World Heavyweight Champion. But afterwards, Rodriguez and Del Rio, they attack Sheamus after the match, and they beat him down a little bit. And then you hear Dolph Ziggler's music go off, so he's running down the ring to try to cash in the Money in the Bank. He does give the briefcase to the referee. Then he eats a bro kick from Sheamus right afterwards. I thought it would have been funny and sad at the same time if he would have been the first guy to lose Money in the Bank after cashing it in. But bell never rang, so Ziggler's still in possession of the briefcase, and that'll probably be another match for another time. Alright, next you had an unadvertised tag team match between Primo and Epico with Rosa Mendez against the Primetime Players, Taz O'Neil and Darren Young with AW. Primo and Epico won this match, but really wasn't about them. It was more about AW, baby. Him and the Primetime Players. After the match, they get in the face of Kofi and R-Truth, who were sitting ringside doing commentary. And I think all this really did, I think it's probably going to set up a match between them at SummerSlam for the tag team titles. unless they want to make a 6-man tag with AW and primetime players against Kofi and R-Truth and maybe Little Jimmy. But that's really what this is all about. It was about AW. Abraham Saddam Washington. So, the WWE Championship match, once again, was not the main event. So you can draw your own conclusions as to really what was the main event, but I will get into that later. Earlier on the day, they announced that it was going to be a no DQ match between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan with AJ Lee as the special guest referee. Well, what we had was another solid to great match between the two, between Punk and Bryan, but what would you expect between these two? I mean, they are two of the greatest workers in the world. Two of the best wrestlers going in WWE. Punk ends up winning after, both men took a lot of punishment in this match, especially with the Singapore cane, candlestick shots, and the chair shot. That was one thing towards the end of the match where AJ gets knocked out, and she gets knocked off the ring apron earlier in the match, so they end up taking her to the back, and then replacement referee came down. And then late in the match, she ends up running back down to the ring, starts skipping around the ring like she has a tendency to do. She ends up going outside the ring and to get a chair and sets it in the middle of the ring, and they both, Punk and Bryan, end up going after it, and both men took a few chair shots, and finally the end comes where they get his table set up in the ring. Punk ends up hitting a belly to back suplex through the table. Kind of a nice little ECW finish, sort of, kind of. Punk retains, and you still don't know what side AJ is on. I mean, this is still more about AJ than it was Punk and Bryan and the WWE title. So, God, are they gonna have another match at SummerSlam? God, I really hope they don't. I mean, because I think this has been played to death. I mean, yes, Punk and Bryan do have great matches, but how long are they gonna let this go on? I mean, seriously. But with that being said, it was still a great match between the two. Okay, I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone here. You had a couple of little filler matches between the WWE Championship match and the Money in the Bank WWE Championship contract match. Ryback against Tyler X and Kurt Hawkins. Another squash for Ryback. Just another excuse to get him on a pay-per-view. Give him a pay-per-view buyout. And then you had a random 6-diva tag team match between... It was Tamina and Layla and Caitlyn against Beth Phoenix, Natalya, and Eve. Layla ends up going over. I don't remember who she went over. I don't really care. But that's about all I know there. Then we come up to the main event. The Money in the Bank match for the WWE Championship contract between John Cena, Chris Jericho, Big Show, Kane, and what we heard earlier in the night with the return of The Miz, that he was going to be in the match. So he ended up having 5 guys in the match instead of 4. Thought maybe they could have brought back Rey Mysterio for this too, but that didn't happen. But anyway, how many of you out there thought that John Cena wasn't going to win this match? See? As I've been saying on my Raw reviews and what I said on the Money in the Bank prediction show, if you watch that, I've been saying that they gave you no reason to believe that he wasn't going to win this, and that's exactly what he did. He won. And he acted all surprised because it was him and Big Show on top of the ladder, and he ends up breaking the hook, and he ends up with his hands, and he acts all fucking surprised. It's like, why were you surprised, Cena? You knew the fuck you were going to win. and anybody with a fucking brain would know you were gonna win. But with all that being said, this match was actually better than the. Yeah, I thought it was better than the SmackDown Money in the Bank match. There wasn't as many botches in this match. In fact, there was very few. There's one spot towards the end of the match. Big Show picks up that big ass fucking gold ladder. I don't know where the hell they got that, but sometimes if you watch our Off the Rope show review of this show, I mean sometimes it is the little things that catch your eye. Like a big ass gold ladder. I mean one of those heavy duty ladders that could handle somebody like the Big Show, But all in all, the match itself was decent. I mean, the finish, of course, was predictable. But other than that, hey, I got to spend Friday and Saturday night hanging out with Road Warrior Animal. So this is really minor by comparison. I mean, this doesn't even really bother me all that much, to be perfectly honest with you, after the weekend I've had. So, and it's just. Cena winning, it's like just one of those things you gotta accept because at the end of a pay-per-view, the thing you're most likely gonna hear is like, ba ba da ba, ba ba da ba, ba 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 ba. Your time is up. Your time is now. All right, my final thoughts on this pay-per-view. There wasn't a lot of things that were unexpected in this match. I mean, when you only have 4 advertised matches, and you had 3 filler matches. You had your tag team match, you had a random Ryback match, and you had a random Divas match. But the 4 matches that were advertised, they were pretty predictable, I thought. I mean, that's one knock on WWE right now, and I could probably think of a few other ones, but the thing about WWE right now is they've just gotten too predictable. I mean, there's no title changes on this card. Sheamus retained, CM Punk retained, no surprise there. SmackDown, Money in the Bank. Ziggler ends up winning the blue briefcase, whereas you would have thought Cody Rhodes should have won it, and I thought he should have won it too, but the way they've been jobbing out Ziggler lately, it's not surprising that they ended up giving it to him. And then Cena winning the red Money in the Bank briefcase. How could you not think he was going to win this match? I've been harping on ever since he put his name into the hat for the Money in the Bank match. You know, it's like they didn't, and I'm gonna say this again. They did nothing to make you think otherwise, that he wasn't gonna win this match. Yeah, I know they put Miz in the match, like from earlier in the night, and I would have thought he would have gone over on this perhaps, but you thought there could have at least been a shot to do it, but just didn't happen. So it was, for me, this is just a really predictable pay-per-view for the most part. But anyway, let me know what you thought down below, and this is Marvelous Mark signing off for now. Bye-bye.